sometimes that is better.
Hey everybody, what's up? KillJoy Jake here, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. Today we're talking all about M3GAN 2.0 as well as a new Friday the 13th movie. Before we get into this update though, if you guys can like this video and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you all for 15K on this page, by the way, and 1,000 subscribers over on my second page. I greatly appreciate it. So talking a little bit about M3GAN 2.0. Now before we get into this, obviously if you have not seen the first M3GAN, don't watch this talking about the sequel because we have to spoil the first movie to talk about the sequel. That should just be a given. So don't go any further if you haven't seen M3GAN. Go watch it and then come on back. Blumhouse and Atomic Monster have recently announced that M3GAN 2.0 is coming out on January 17th of 2025. This announcement comes at absolutely no surprise because the movie has grossed over $104 million against its $12 million budget. This was a huge hit for a January release, and rightfully so because I thought this movie was incredible. It exceeded my expectations and it was a really fun time overall, and they even did little tiny things for sequel setup all the way throughout it. Allison Williams and Violet McGraw will return for the upcoming film, as well as Akela Cooper, who will be writing the script, and James Wan, who will be producing. Now, at the end of the last film, this is the spoilery part, we kind of got the idea that maybe M3GAN transferred her consciousness up into the internet, because we get that scene right at the end with Gemma's AI assistant, and let me tell you, I don't think that's her old assistant, I think that's her new one, M3GAN. And also, don't forget about that one intern who sold the plans for M3GAN to that other company, so something tells me they're gonna capitalize on that in the sequel. Could we also see a whole army of M3GANs running around killing people in the sequel? I think so. And I want to end this whole section of the video talking about the M3GAN sequel by kind of comparing it once again to Child's Play 2019. So while these movies are very similar, one is a success story and one just is not. Even though yes, they are very similar concepts, Child's Play 2019 is riffing off of a series that doesn't really have anything to do with like robotic dolls coming to life and killing people. It's more about serial killers possessing a doll and then killing people, and just messing with that format too much, I think, is why Child's Play fans were mostly turned off to this movie. I've seen a lot of people say they really like this film. It has an awesome cast and some amazing kills, but personally, I just wasn't that big on it. They turned one of the most unique killer dolls into just a very standard killer doll that's a malfunctioning robot doll. It's like, that's the most standard way you can write for a killer doll film. And M3GAN, in my opinion, has a little more originality to her. Like, yes, similar concept, but also very different. Their personalities are completely different in both films. Like in Child's Play 2019, they just play the robot killer doll thing pretty straight, and it's not like the most exciting thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, Mark Hamill does a good job at voicing Chucky, but it's nothing exceptional. M3GAN, in my opinion, is, because she has a very vibrant personality as a slasher. Like, she says these really like positive and then very eerie things at the same time, and it just makes for a very unique movie. Where Child's Play 2019 is kind of flavorless, M3GAN takes the same thing and throws a whole bunch of spices at it. So if you watched M3GAN recently and you're just like, well, that was just Child's Play 2019, I would argue to give it another watch because I think it's a lot better than that movie personally. Once again, us Friday the 13th fans are going to be returning to Camp Crystal Lake. No, not in the form of a TV show, but an actual movie now. Oh boy, have we got some big news. The director of the original Friday the 13th, Sean S. Cunningham, is coming back to the franchise to make yet another movie. It has been almost a decade and a half since we got ourselves the last Friday the 13th movie, and now finally there is one in development. Now, just to sum up the whole lawsuit thing one more time to make this a little more clear, basically the lawsuit that was going on revolving around the Friday the 13th film was that Victor Miller, the original screenwriter for Friday the 13th, and also Sean S. Cunningham's company, Horror Incorporated, were going against each other for the rights to this franchise. Victor Miller essentially won the case, but is working now on this new series called Crystal Lake, which is coming to Peacock sometime relatively soon. I'm excited for the series. They've promised us that yes, Jason can be in that, but they haven't necessarily confirmed it, which has me still on the fence about the whole thing, because it could just be a show about only Pamela Voorhees, which I'm personally just not interested in. Not every single character in every popular horror movie needs a prequel story about their background and their backstory. I would just rather have a continuation about Jason killing people. I'm a simple guy. I'm a little wary on the TV show for that reason, but A24 is behind it, as well as Brian Fuller, who did that awesome Hannibal series, so I think it's going to be good. I don't know. Fingers crossed, man. I'm rooting for it. I hope it's kicking. But now that we also have this movie, it seems like, yes, we are going to be getting Jason in this one. I mean, I think just titling a film Friday the 13th promises that, yes, you will see Jason on the big screen killing people. Now, with all of this, it also brings some very surprising horror news that Sean S. Cunningham is also trying to do a reboot of House from 1985, which he was a part of, as well as a brand new film called The Knight Rider. Jeff Locker, the writer for all of these projects, explains, "Sean hired me to do a rewrite on The Night Driver, and after working closely with director Jeremy Weiss and him on on that, we naturally got to talking about Friday the 13th and House. Jeremy and I pitched our dream reboot for Friday the 13th with Sean's blessing to keep developing it with him. Obviously, the prequel TV series has reignited interest about a new film, so we're hoping the surrounding excitement will inspire both sides to come together and give us Jason on the big screen again for the first time in 14 years. But we also have a plan B for a sequel to the original we think fans will absolutely love and should avoid any legal entanglements. So all of this is very exciting except for that little last thing that he kind of throws in, which has me worried. But let's focus on the positives first. While I am very excited for this new Friday the 13th film, I just feel like there's one person in the world who is first in line to make an official Friday the 13th film, and that is easily Vincent DiSanti from Womp Stomp Films. I don't really know too much about this Jeremy Weiss or Jeff Locker, as they don't really have too many big credits to their names, but I know Vincent DiSanti would do a great job making an official Friday the 13th film, especially considering his work on Friday the 13th fan films Never Hike Alone, Never Hike in the Snow, and also the upcoming Never Hike Alone 2. While I am open-minded to all of these new Friday the 13th projects, oddly enough, the thing I'm the most excited for is Womp Stomp's new Never Hike Alone film. That, in my opinion, is the requel for Friday the 13th as a franchise. The legal details with the Friday the 13th franchise are very obscured right now, so I'm not even 100% sure that Sean S. Cunningham can make a Friday the 13th film, which is why I think we even got this little last sentence from Jeff Locker here about the legal entanglement issues. He also talks about how they have a plan B for a sequel to the original, which once again doesn't feature a big ol' adult Jason running around murdering people. So are we just getting a bunch of Pamela Voorhees movies? I guess that's something in the back of my mind that I'm worried about right now, and I guess I'm just not as interested in that. While I do have my concerns for these upcoming projects, I hope that not only the Crystal Lake series, but also the Friday the 13th movie that's coming out soon, I hope they're both great. In the meantime, though, we do have Womp Stomp's new Never Hike Alone 2 fan film coming out this October, perfectly on a Friday the 13th, which I'm personally really excited for. The first 5 minutes of that was released on Friday the 13th of this month, which yes, there are 2 this year. Very exciting stuff for us Jason fans. So go check out those first 5 minutes if you haven't already. It features Tom Matthews as Tommy Jarvis too. The guy's back. I am very excited for all 3 of these upcoming Friday the 13th projects, but what do you guys think? Are you excited for all of this, or do you also have some concerns regarding these new TV series, just considering some of the things we know about them so far? Leave me something about it in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching this new Friday the 13th and M3GAN 2.0 update. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more horror content in the future. Also, please consider supporting me on Patreon or becoming a channel member by clicking that join button on my page. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.